Today we will be making a deep house or tech house bassline, and just to give you an idea what we will be creating today, I'm going to play you a little 30-second excerpt or 1 minute excerpt of my current track I'm working on, and we will be recreating that exact bass in just a moment's notice. Let's get started. First off, we need to load up our operator. Wait, no, come on. All right, here it is, and let's take a listen to what we got. Just a simple sine wave, and it really sounds bad in this part here. That's because I used legato notes when recording the melody. So what I'm going to do is put this into monophonic, so only one note can play at once. That's pretty usual for most bass synth. Alright, you can hear in what direction we want to go, but now we need to brighten up the sound a little bit. We are just having the fundamental here, and there's not much harmonic content that's getting you excited. So what we're going to do is we have operator in this mode here. You can click the different modes, and this is the frequency modulation mode. So if we turn this up, this sine wave will modulate the frequency of this sine wave, and we really do get an interesting sound of that. Let's just take a listen when I turn this button up. As you can see, those are quite interesting sonic capabilities that operator has here, and this really sounds good if you have it in moderate levels. So if we take it back a notch here, I'm just going to put it to minus 12 decibels. I really do like that. Just got this deep feel to it. You can go higher or lower, that's just to taste. I really do like this 12 decibels thingy with the second oscillator, and it really does sound great by itself. But what we're going to do now is add a little bit of decay in this envelope here, in this amp envelope of this single oscillator, and we are going to take the sustain down, so the note is not being held. It's like being as if every time a note is being played, someone drops down this knob here for us. So let's just do that. We are going to say it drops down to minus infinite decibels, and we are going to want this quite long. It's just to show you what it sounds like now. And now you can get that deep feeling, and kind of like a filter, but it really is not quite like it. So I'm just, let's see what sounds good. Yeah, it's got a little bit of punch. It's still a little clicky at the beginning, but I don't worry about that at this point. So it's still missing some higher frequencies. So what we can do is modulate it even more. And this is quite the interesting sound. But what we can do also is use this coarse button and move up the octave of this oscillator. And basically, as you play higher on your keyboard, you get more high frequency. So when I play a deep note, the higher I play, the more high frequencies I get. So let's just put this, let's say, at three octaves above. Yeah, now we're talking. Let's try the others. That really does retain that deep feel and also gives this metal sound. So I'm this by metal sound I don't mean the genre, but this like, it's hard to describe. It kind of sounds like a punching metal, and it's like giving, I don't know. I'm missing the words. I'm sorry. English is not my first language. All right. So we got the sound. Really does sound awesome. Not too bright and not too deep. And now what we're going to do is we will be adding a filter to all of this. So let's use the filter that's already selected here. And we got different types, but this is just a simple low pass filter. That really gives us a deep sound. So let's modulate the filter by again adding another envelope, and just I'm just going to bring the envelope amount up here a little bit over time. Let's just listen and see what we like to add in some punch and some of the higher frequencies, but just momentarily. Yeah, really get the punchy sound now, but for my taste the decay is a little bit too fast. Yeah, now we're talking. Somewhere around here. Yeah. Now we gotta keep in mind, even though it really does sound better at 4 seconds in my opinion, we're going to make a little bit of a compromise here, because what we're going to need to do is we are going to automate all those parameters we just used and decided on, and we are going to bring them up just a tiny bit, and so we can make the sound even more interesting and make it evolve. So when we got a build up, it really does get quite intense, and so we are going to cut it back a little bit and still let it sound awesome, but not quite as awesome as it will be when the main drop hits in, and you know, all those parameters just go a little notch over. But we got so many of those parameters that just go like 1% more awesome that it really blows up your ears. So let's save those 4 seconds of decay for that moment, and maybe a little bit of level here on the oscillator. So let's see. We are going to try to do that later, but what I'm going to show you now is quite an awesome trick before we go on automating stuff for drops, is just to get a little bit more punch. We heard a little bit of punch when we had a short decay, but that really does take the deep vibe off of it. So let's add a little bit punch in. What I like to do on pretty much all my bass lines is add a little bit of pitch envelope, and when you I'm just going to play it. It's hard to describe. Alright, this sounds crap. I totally agree. But if we bring the decay down, it really adds just a little bit of punch, like a kick drum, but it's not going from like a few thousand hertz down. It's just going an octave and going then down. Alright, let's bring the decay down. You can barely hear it now. And now we just got a little bit of punch. That's awesome, huh? That's still a little long. Yeah. And now the last trick, and that's just awesome on operator, is this little time loop. Just listen what happens if I move it. You can really make quite a difference just by using this time knob, because what it really does is it's affecting all those decay times. All right, we don't have an amp envelope on there, but we got one on the filter and one on the second oscillator, and it really plays a little bit with it, and also with the pitch envelope, and that's because why I made it that short, because we're going to make it a little longer when we're bringing up this time knob. We don't want to audibly hear the pitch changing in a way. We just want to have a little bit of click at the beginning to get a little bit of transient, a little bit of punch at the beginning. All right, so now we got a sound. What we're going to do now is drive it through a little bit of saturation here. Just a little bit, nothing too heavy, it's still quite gentle. And a little bit of compression. And that's it for the first layer. What we're going to do now is actually add another layer, and we're just going to group this. I'm just pressing Command G, or it's STRG key and the G key to bring this all into one of those instrument racks. And if we click here on this list button, we can bring up a list of all the instruments that are playing at the same time. What we're going to do now is we are going to duplicate this operator, and now two are playing at the same time. So now that's just blowing our ears out. Let's just bring the limiter on the master down a little bit. What we're going to do is we are going to let this play at a higher octave, and we are going to change some of the parameters of the second operator here. Let's just listen to it, how it sounds if we bring the second octave in here. Yeah, I like that sound, but the low frequencies are crashing, so let's add a little bit of EQ here. Yeah, that's better. All right, and now we have to change it. It doesn't feel right. All right, you know what I mean, right? All right, so let's put oscillator 3 a little bit lower, so we don't get quite as much of those upper frequencies. Let's just work with it. Yeah, that's better. Since we moved up the notes, we also get a more higher frequency content, and we gotta bring the FM modulation down a little bit. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to try to bring up oscillator 2 here and just play with it. And that really enables us to, oh, that wasn't the intent of mine, to bring up like a filter sweep or something from almost nothing to quite a lot. So around -6 is where it starts to sound too heavy. So let's bring it down a little bit. All right, and since we got more of the higher frequency content, we might as well use it. So at this moment we got the filter, and the filter is cutting out most of the higher frequency content. And we got an envelope here, and it's just moving 20% up. But let's bring that up a little bit. Let's see how it sounds like. Ah, now we're talking. So now you can hear that added added frequency content we just created by moving the notes up, and yeah, I'm just going to keep it there. It's awesome. And now we still got the time up, right? Let's just listen to this again. Now, we got one problem here. When I move this time knob, the time knob of the other operator is not moving. And we are going to solve that in a moment to make automating this really easy. But we gotta do one more thing. I think the sound needs a little bit more saturation. Let's just try it. I don't know what's the outcome, but let's just take off the compressor here to really hear it. Yeah. Add the compressor back in, just so any volume changes over time are compensated a little bit. Alright, and let's listen to it. Yeah, that's better. Now we're getting somewhere. Now, as I said a second ago, I want to have the time knob moved on both of those at the same time, and I'm going to do this by just using this map button and those macro knobs. You can access them by pressing this knob here in the instrument rack, and it really is quite handy. I can go on the time knob and just click map here and do the same on the other one. And now, if I bring it up to -20 where we had it before, I can control both of them at the same time. You can see when I move it here, this one moves as well as this one moves. Yeah. Now, I always stop at 40% up and at -20%, and let's just hardwire them as limits here. So what we do is we click on this map button, and now we can decide on a minimum and a maximum for those automation changes, and I'm just going to type them in here. So now I have more accurate range when later drawing my automation in here, and I just know I can go from as low as I want to as high as I want, and don't have to worry about when it starts sounding too extreme. Alright, and that's one thing that's solved, but that's still not interesting enough for me. Let's try to think of other things we could automate. So what is basically the most usual thing you automate on any kind of synth? It's usually the filter, and let's do exactly that, but this time we won't automate the filter frequency as we most of the times do, but rather automate the decay. What we are effectively doing is we will retain some movement in the sound because the envelope is still moving the filter frequency cutoff, but if we move it high enough, it just barely kicks in, so it really is just affecting the highest of the highs, and it's not subtracting much of the sound, but still keeps it interesting, so we still got some movement in the sound, and that's what we want. So we won't automate the frequency. That's a nice effect on some things, but here we want to keep the sound bouncy and interesting, and want to have transients, and that's because that's why we will automate the decay. Let's just do it. Click here and click map, and I just saw it reset our setting here. Let's just put it back in here. We had 1.62 seconds. and I just typed it in here. And let's do the same thing for the filter on this one. Let's do it, and we have to bring it up again because it resets it. Should have thought about that. Well, that wasn't my intent, not 16 seconds, but rather 1.6 seconds. I should have thought of that before. We could have just put all those parameters in. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to add the following things. I'm just going to add a little bit of automation on the levels here, and I'm going to add a little bit of automation on the decay. So yeah, the decay, it's basically on the oscillators the same thing as the filter. It really adds, or not adds, but rather keeps those higher frequencies in for longer, which basically increases the energy of the sound, the perceived energy of the sound. Since I didn't thought of that, let me just type in all these things, and I'll be back in a second. All right, I'm back, and I just typed in some stuff in this list here. So what did I do? Well, we found out some decibel volumes on the oscillators that we liked. So I just typed those in as minima, and then I went ahead and put this all on a macro knob, and then I also used the information we gained here when we turned down the macro 2 knob, not the macro 2 knob, but rather the oscillator 2 or oscillator B FM amount, and noticed that because we have an EQ8, we won't hear anything. Well, we almost won't hear anything. And if we now bring it up, we start to add higher harmonics. Then now this is controlled also by macro 2. We also used all of those to add a little bit more. What I said, just here we are adding 3 decibels on here, 3 decibels on here, 2 decibels on here, just tiny little bit, as I said in the beginning, to later add all those tiny little changes up to give a huge perceived energy boost in sound. So if you want that exact sound I created, you can just use those settings that are shown here, but I would recommend just tweak them like you really like, and that will work for you. And one last thing I did is I also added the filter envelope here, and I also made a mistake here. We had a 28%, and I turned it up to 100%. So all of those high harmonics that are being created by our oscillators here, and the frequency modulation, all of them will come through if we turn up this knob to the maximum. So what is happening? Well, we have this knob, and we, as you can see, are automating a lot of parameters just by a tiny bit. You can see those two things are really just changing a little bit. But let's hear what it really sounds like if we turn it up. I'm now bringing up the time knob. Isn't that awesome? I mean, the change from this to That's huge, and we really didn't do anything. We just achieved that huge boost by modulating them by, not modulating, but rather automating and changing parameters by a tiny little bit, but adding these up. So we have this huge list of, and well, it really isn't that huge, but this list of things that are being changed, and it really all adds up. So there's one last thing we have to do for the sound before we add any effects, and that's basically we gotta deal with the low end. If you are listening over headphones, you can see well, even though it is quite good, I am going to cut it out. And then the sub oscillator. By sub oscillator, I don't mean sub oscillator, but rather I will duplicate this and just remove this entirely and change this to a low pass instead of a low cut, and load in another operator. This time I won't be using a sine wave, but rather a triangle wave. Now we get the problem with the multiple notes being played at the same time, so we change it into monophonic mode, so only one note can be played at a time. And let's add in a little bit of saturation. Yeah, I don't like the sound of a triangle wave if you got more than a few harmonics of it. Well, now we got a bass that's just playing all the time, and we don't want that either. So we go on the envelope setting and just add in a little bit of decay. And we can group them and basically just put a glue compressor on them, glue them a little bit together. And the most awesome thing is we could, if we wanted to, put a little bit of reverb on there for stereo widening, if we wanted to, because we won't clash with the low frequencies anymore. And we can control anything we want, and we won't mess up or lowest fundamental here. And we can actually control how much sub bass we want playing. And maybe we even go ahead and group this operator again and put in another one. And yes, you could do it by just going into the notes and here into the note view and selecting all of them, pressing legato and copying them over an octave. But I don't know why, I just like to duplicate the instrument and put a pitch effect on there and put an octave higher. So we got a second note playing here that will be heard on systems that can't go in the 50 Hz range, but rather play around the 80 to 120 Hz range. Yeah, but yeah, you could do it by duplicating the notes over, and this isn't that tidy of a solution for this problem. But to be honest, I really don't care. Operator is not really using that much of power on my PC or my MacBook here, so I can do it and if you want to use larger projects, then do the way with the nodes. All right. Now, since we separated the lows, we can also bring in other effects. We already heard the reverb, but it didn't really sound great. But what really sounds great on this, in my opinion, is this ping pong delay. If you just for example, I'm going to duplicate this over, and let's say we have our first 16 bars here, and we now remove the sub, so it really just it's like a build up or something, and we will be let's just widen the grid a little bit. Let's bring in the for example the ping pong delay here just before the drop comes. And of course, since we now got those awesome macro knobs, we could automate that change of this and the change of this, and maybe we want to let this start a little bit earlier. So and now we got so the ping pong delay really adds a little bit of high energy if you put this band pass on here, and that's exactly what I did on the build-ups and the track we heard at the beginning. All right, that's the tutorial for now. We recreated the bass. All you would have to add now is that the white noise that was in there, the drums that were in there, and what you actually can do, and what I did in the track later, is the following. I know this is crazy, but you can duplicate the thing again, and again add a pitch. We already have a chain here, and put it up in another one, and so we got a even more full sound. Yeah, but that's it for now. The we got yeah, we got through. We just used Ableton stock plugins, so any one of you can actually do this. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them for you. And yeah, just play around with this technique I use here, automating things with the instrument rack here. Many things, just a tiny bit, and using FM synthesis. I really found out some nice combos here by just using sine waves. You can use, of course, any other wave you want, but I really do like this deep sound that just comes out of them, and yeah, you can really just if you practice it a little bit and produce a track, you will dance through your own studio. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If not, you will probably have not watched it for 30 fucking minutes. Oh my god, this is long. All right, see you later.